Vensy stares at the woman in front of him, completely shocked. Sweat runs down his face as he struggles to speak, unable to believe what he is seeing. Finally he asks if she is really Professor Sadi. She stands tall with a frightening smile and one glowing purple eye. She does not answer, but her silence confirms his fear. Suddenly huge figures step out of the dust behind Vensy. These massive men have blue crystals stuck in their bodies. They stare at Sadi with wild devotion. One tells her he has destroyed the mono wall just like she ordered. The others strangely beg her to punish them, hit them, and step on them, calling her their queen. Vensy looks at the group in confusion and asks who they are. Sadi looks down at him with a twisted smile. She says they are wanted criminals and reveals she has been secretly preparing for this day. A terrible realization hits Vensy. He remembers how she often skipped investigations, stayed drunk, and left gaps in her reports. He suddenly understands that she only pretended to be useless while building her own private army. The criminals blush with excitement and ask for their next order. Sadi's smile grows wider. She points her weapon forward and tells them to spread out and set them off. The crystal-filled criminals obey and jump away in every direction at impossible speed. Vensy and the teachers behind him freeze as they finally understand what is happening. Panic twists Vensy's face. After the explosion, Vensy Morgue creates a blue barrier to protect the students who survived, but the damage is horrible. The ground is covered with dead students, their blood soaking into the stone floor. Struggling to keep the barrier up, Vensy screams at Sadi, demanding to know why she is doing this. Sadi stands in the dust and rubble and simply smiles. She mocks him, saying he really deserves his title as academy professor since he managed to survive the blast. Vensy glares at her and asks if she has always been insane or if she just recently lost her mind. Then a thought hits him. He asks if this is because of the incident of the 47, the event that destroyed her family. Sadi looks impressed that he knows her past. She praises him for his information and asks if he thinks she is doing all this for revenge. Vensy shouts back, brushing it off. He says the incident of the 47 was just a foolish rebellion led by people blinded by power. Sadi's face turns cold. She tells him that he may see it that way, but he is far from the truth. Standing over the destruction she caused, she begins to explain what really happened 35 years ago. After the empire was united, she says, 47 family leaders attacked the palace, killing many people. This became known as the incident of the 47 families. The rebellion ended in disaster. 46 of the leaders were executed on the spot. Only one survived, the head of the Sadi family, her grandfather. He was arrested and thrown into a prison called Nouvelle Vague. Sadi raises one finger and explains that taking the throne was only the surface reason. Their true goal was different. She says the imperial family feared others would join the rebels, so they hid the real story from the public. She then grabs the hair of the unconscious bleeding headmaster Winston and lifts his head roughly. With a terrifying stare, she says their real goal was to bring back a world where only the strong survive, the return of the warring states period. Vensy repeats the term in confusion. Sadi explains that after unification, strength stopped being the main rule of justice and power. She speaks with disgust, saying society now believes even the weak can rise to the top and defeat the strong just by working hard. She describes how a small scholar can stand above a powerful warrior. Her voice grows intense as she says the 47 families could not accept this new world. She paints a dark picture, claiming peace turns people into livestock. Those who grow weak become tools, treated like trash in human skin. Vensy cannot understand her twisted thinking. He calls her crazy and asks if she really killed Winston because of these beliefs. He reminds her that Winston protected her during the incident of the 47, saving her from punishment just for being related to the rebels. He shouts that Winston even paid for her education so she could become a professor. He asks how she can repay such kindness with betrayal. Sadi stands silent, holding Winston's head while Vensy yells. Then her face fills with pure rage. Grinding her teeth, she tells him to shut up, her purple eye burning with anger. She screams that Winston was the one who arrested her grandfather. She reveals that Winston's mana illness came from injuries he got while fighting her grandfather. Then, without care, she throws Winston's bleeding body onto the dirt. She coldly says that besides wanting revenge, he also represents the school, so he has to die. With clear disgust, Sadi throws Ven's earlier words back at him. She mocks his claim that the academy honors the highest level of martial arts. Her face twists into a sneer as she bluntly says his words mean nothing. Staring at the golden emblem of Colosseo Academy, she spits out how she truly feels. She calls it a garbage place that hides real martial arts. She explains that the school only exists to control true warriors by promising government jobs and success, turning them into loyal tools of the system. Purple energy starts exploding around her body as she declares that the current system is completely broken. She says only the strong deserve power, and everyone else should be wiped out. She swears she will gladly become that disaster herself. Gripping her whip, she warns them not to complain about their fate. She promises to force them to accept this violent new world. With a deafening roar, Sadi releases her full power. Wrapped in purple energy and surrounded by her crystal minions, she screams that she will become a natural disaster. Suddenly, her rampage is cut short. A huge beam of red light crashes down onto the battlefield. It slams into the ground with massive force, causing a violent explosion that shatters the stone floor and sends debris flying everywhere. Sadi freezes, her proud expression instantly turning to shock. From the cloud of dust and red light, a new figure appears. Standing calmly among the broken crystal minions is a man in a sharp suit holding a sword. It is Osiris. He stares at Sadi with cold eyes. The crystal criminals panic when they see reinforcements arrive. They don't understand where these powerful fighters came from. Still, they try to regroup, shouting that they have the numbers and that one swordsman can't beat them all. Two monsters rush Osiris from the air, trying to overwhelm him. Before they even reach him, energy beams and arrows blast them out of the sky. One struck straight through the head. From a distance, the attackers reveal themselves. It is Cervanti, leader of the Azure Spearman family, and Regressed, leader of the Mystical Archer family. Cervanti grins, impressed by how strong Osiris has become at such a young age. Not wanting to be shown up by someone younger and wanting to protect their children at the academy, both patriarchs power up their weapons. Regressed agrees they can't let the younger generation outdo them yet, and they prepare to join the fight. With his sides covered, Osiris turns to his brothers, the Baskerville triplets. He orders them to take Pomerian and bring her to the safe zone right away. The triplets shout back and rush off with the child. Now free to fight seriously, Osiris walks toward the remaining enemies. His eyes burn with killing intent as he says he will kill anyone who stands in his way. He pours his mana into his blade and releases the Baskerville 6th technique. Moving faster than the eye can follow, he cuts a huge star-shaped path through the enemy lines. The crystal monsters are sliced apart instantly, unable to react. Vency Morg steps forward and points out Sadi's failure. He tells her she isn't just fighting academy staff, but the combined power of all the great families in the empire. He asks if she still doesn't understand that power used to steal from others is always weaker than power used to protect. Sadi laughs in his face, amused by his speech. With a crazed look, she licks her finger and gives her chilling answer. She says all she has to do is destroy whatever he wants to protect, making his strength useless. With a twisted grin, she asks if she isn't right. Her cruel belief is proven nearby. In the rubble, a child cries uncontrollably over her fallen mother, screaming for her to wake up. A huge crystal monster stands over them. The beast notices the mother is still barely alive and asks the terrified girl what she plans to do now. Its face twists into a nasty smile as it prepares to finish them. It says Queen Sadi has ordered all the weak to be killed. The girl starts shaking, her eyes wide with fear. Frozen in place and facing death, she lets out one last scream as the monster moves to strike. Back on the battlefield, Sadi laughs wildly at Vency Morg. She mocks his belief that strength should protect others. Grinning cruelly, she says it's much easier to simply erase anything that needs protecting. Her orders are carried out right away. The young girl sobs beside her bleeding mother while the crystal monster looms over them. Seeing the mother still alive, the creature prepares to finish the job, remembering Sadi's command to kill the weak. The child trembles in terror as the monster raises its attack. Suddenly, a sharp spear bursts through the monster's chest from behind, stopping it instantly. The one holding the spear is Tudor. His eyes are wide in shock as the creature collapses. Tudor stands frozen. Behind him are Bianca, Sancho, and Piggy. The reality of what he just did hits him hard. He starts sweating and shaking, unable to move after realizing he killed a living being. Seeing this, Bianca grabs him by the collar and yells at him to wake up, reminding him that the little girl would have died if he hadn't acted. Their tense moment is interrupted when Sancho calls out with a grim expression. Piggy looks around in fear as Sancho warns them they are in serious danger. Then the truth becomes clear. Sancho, Bianca, Tudor, and Piggy are completely surrounded by a swarm of crystal monsters. In the middle of the chaotic battlefield, Bianca turns toward the frightened little girl. The child is crying and begging for help, so Bianca gently pats her head. With a warm smile, she tells the girl not to worry and says the boys with her are very strong. Standing beside Sancho, Tudor, and Piggy, Bianca holds her bow. She promises the child they will find a way to save both her and her mother. The group gets ready as two more huge crystal monsters rush toward them, screaming for them to die. Piggy trembles in fear, gripping his sword while a giant hand reaches down to crush him. Suddenly, a bright purple magic circle appears on the ground. Huge dark spikes burst from the earth, stabbing the monsters and protecting the students inside a star-shaped barrier. As the monsters fall, someone scoffs at how weak they were. A young woman walks calmly through the bodies. She tells her small demon-like creature, Ser, to collect the souls of the dead monsters. The creature lands and quickly obeys, spinning its staff and pulling in purple energy with a wild look on its face. The young woman scolds it, pointing her finger. She says 5 enemies died, but only 4 souls were gathered. She accuses Ser of eating one and threatens to erase it if it doesn't behave. Sancho, Tudor, Bianca, and Piggy watch in confusion. Piggy nervously thanks her for saving them and admits he doesn't know who she is. The girl spins around with a bright smile, realizing she forgot to introduce herself. While casually crushing Ser between two magic circles to silence it, she holds out her hand and introduces herself as Camus Morgue, a new first-year transfer student. The group is shocked. Before they can react, Camus introduces the red-haired girl beside her as Rose Morgue, saying she is also a first-year transfer student. Sancho, Tudor, Piggy, and Bianca huddle together, whispering that it feels strange for students to transfer so late in the semester. Still, they admit these girls just saved their lives. Their quiet talk stops when Camus snaps her fingers. She says she understands their confusion but quickly changes the subject. Leaning close to the boys, she says she feels they might know where a certain person is. Tudor asks who she means. Camus smiles softly and mysteriously, saying she has been searching for him for a long time. Elsewhere, in a dark hallway filled with defeated enemies, Camus finally says the name of the person she wants to find: Vicar. At the same time, Vicar is dealing with his own fight. He grabs a crystal-masked minion by the throat, squeezing while it gasps and weakly calls for its queen. Vicar stares coldly, his red eyes glowing behind his glasses as he stands among the bodies, quietly planning his next move. Sadi stands proudly over the defeated professors, her crystal army waiting for orders. She looks down at Vinci Morgue and mocks him, asking if she should spare him for old time's sake before things get even worse. With a cruel smile, she admits she has no intention of making any deal. Vinci Morgue, beaten and sweating but still stubborn, tells her he would rather die than give in. Sadi is pleased by his answer. Her purple eye widens with sick joy as she agrees to grant his wish. She orders the massive crystal monsters to attack, and they roar and charge at the helpless teachers while she watches with a twisted grin. Just as a giant stone hand reaches out to crush Vinci Morgue, a huge red slash cuts through the air, slicing the monster in half. The Nighthound lands on the battlefield. Vinci stares in shock, and Sadi's confident expression turns to surprise. The Nighthound stands before them, red eyes glowing behind his plague doctor mask. He points to the side and coldly tells the professors to run, showing them an exit. Vinci is confused, asking why a criminal would help them, thinking the Nighthound should be on the same side as Miseraboros. The Nighthound doesn't explain. With his back to them and his blade glowing, he gives a harsh warning. If they don't leave right now, he will kill them himself. The professors panic and run, shouting that the Nighthound is just as dangerous as Ouroboros. As Vinci runs with them, he looks back and notices a bracelet on the Nighthound's wrist. A sudden thought hits him, and he wonders if the Nighthound could be the same student he had been thinking about earlier. Meanwhile, Sadi faces the Nighthound. Instead of fear, she looks excited, saying she's finally met him. Blushing with twisted joy, she asks if he knows how long she waited for this moment. She assumes he shares her interest in the ancient era, calling it a time of endless war where only the strong survived. She pushes her violent beliefs onto him, claiming she knows everything about him. Standing over the bodies of a woman and child, she tells him she can smell the same predator scent on him that she carries herself. The Nighthound stays cold and distant. He looks down at her and says he has no intention of going along with her disgusting fantasies. He tells her he is not interested at all. His direct refusal leaves Sadi shocked and confused. The Nighthound goes on, saying she must pay for the massacre she caused. Suddenly, his eyes glow red as he jumps into the air to attack. He lands a brutal kick straight into her hip, hitting hard enough to break bone. The force of the blow sends out a huge shockwave, cracking the ground beneath them. After the impact, the Nighthound stands over Sadi as the dust settles. She lies broken on the ground, coughing up blood, her body unable to take such a hit. As Vicar looks down at her, he senses something wrong. He catches a faint demon smell coming from her and wonders where her strange glowing orange eye came from. Even though she is badly injured, a twisted smile spreads across Sadi's face. She reaches toward him with a shaking hand, looking obsessed instead of scared. She says she knew it all along and tells him he is the only one who can truly excite her. But then her body finally gives out. Her eyes go blank and she collapses unconscious onto the shattered stone floor. Standing over her, Vicar lowers his weapon and coldly decides she has completely lost her mind. With the fight paused for the moment, Vicar bends down and picks up the handle of a fallen weapon. He lifts the winter sword, or well, recognizing it as the personal sword of the late headmaster Winston. He also takes a powerful artifact called the Impenetrable Holy Ring. As he slips it into his pocket, he thinks about how he had planned to steal it 6 months later after dropping out. He can't help noticing how strange it is to get such a treasure so early. But as he gets ready to leave, a deep feeling of unease comes over him. He remembers that in his past life, before traveling back in time, he never heard anything about an incident involving Ms. Ouroboros. He realizes the timeline has changed a lot and something feels terribly wrong. Suddenly he freezes. His eyes widen in real shock behind his mask. He stands there silently, staring at the ground. His gaze lands on the body of a man who was supposed to be dead. It is Headmaster Winston, lying in a pool of blood with a massive hole in his chest where he was stabbed. But to Vicar's horror, the headmaster is not gone. Winston's eyes suddenly snap open, glowing with an evil red light and a strange pupil, staring up at Vicar with terrifying supernatural intensity.